Not long ago, I was in a creative workshop with high school students. And as we were all getting a bit tired, I thought, let's take a break. So I've asked them to close their eyes and for a few moments to remember a place where they felt joy, wonder, where they felt they were connected to their true selves. After they opened their eyes, they started talking to each other, and I was listening. Now, some students talked about exotic travel destinations. Others talked about free time activities like dancing or yoga or gaming. Other students remembered family events. I was listening to them and secretly hoping that at least one of these students would somehow associate this place of wonder and joy with where they were spending most of their time when awake, their school. Now, we cannot really blame them for thinking like this, can we? In fact, for many of our young people today, going to school feels a bit like going through a factory assembly line. In the beginning of the school year, they get a strict schedule with a list of topics that they are expected to master quickly. Then the assembly line is on, and they move class by class in 45 minutes tempo or so, and this is not it. Down the line, there's also stressful exams and assessment. But if they make it to the very end, there awaits a shiny diploma and perhaps a great job. Now, the sad reality is that many people who go through this education journey lose their creative power. They stop believing in their unique talents. Unsurprisingly, this leads later on in life to feeling stuck in jobs or situations that do not fit. This leads to burnout and depression. It is said, though, that today's problems are yesterday's innovations. And this factory-like education model was certainly a great thing in the past. But the truth is, it no longer serves the needs of our young people today. So how can we change this? How can we create the school of the future? As it turns out, this is nothing new. Asking these questions is something that has followed humanity throughout history. A book called Schools of the Future appeared actually in 1915. It was written by educator John Dewey, and already back then he was asking the same questions. And he was arguing that we should change the curricula, that we should empower our children with flexibility, with individuality and freedom, that we should make sure that we keep up with the employment requirements of the time. And John Dewey said something that I personally found very interesting. He said that if we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, what we do is actually rob them of tomorrow. And he also advised us to look at education as not preparation for life, because education is life itself. Fast forward today, we know that to navigate a world of complexity and of uncertainty, we need to do things differently. Besides what educators like John Dewey and other visionaries told us already in the past, the science of learning tells us today that in order to navigate uncertainty and complexity, our children must become creative collaborators and critical thinkers. They must become lifelong learners. And it is up to us to empower them with a growth mindset and with a joy for learning. We can only do so if we can transform everyday places in empowering learning opportunities for the 21st century. Now, imagine for a second, and you can definitely close your eyes if you would like to. No worries, if you fall asleep, your neighbor will make sure to wake you up. Now, imagine for a second that you are a high school student, and the year school starts, but guess what? Instead of receiving a schedule with topics, you get a real-life challenge to solve. Let's say, tackle climate change. Now, suddenly, you are on a mission. You are on a learning quest. And as you start getting your head around such a complex issue like climate change, chances are that you will come across geography, history, mathematics, or physics. How inspiring would your learning journey be if along the way you would be supported not only by teachers and by your parents, but by a growing community of learners and of experts? How fascinating would your learning journey be if you could use gaming, augmented reality, or any technology, as a matter of fact, to prototype scenarios and to create solutions that could actually help tackle climate change? How would classes feel if they would be like TED Talks? How would school feel if there would be no more exams? If assessment would come in the fact of ongoing personalized feedback that helps you to fully tap into your potential? Now, all of this may sound a bit like science fiction, but it is not. All these changes are already happening as we speak. And in fact, not very far away from where we are today, extraordinary teachers in public and private schools have decided to do things differently. They are flipping the classrooms, and they are putting the students at the center of the learning process. They are becoming co-learners, inviting creativity and critical thinking and collaboration in the school beyond the curriculum. By doing so, they already see an incredible positive impact on the development of the children. These educators, they are not alone. There's more and more teachers, researchers, and entrepreneurs coming together here in Switzerland and beyond, prototyping new learning experiences and environments for the 21st century. I had the privilege to work with many of them in the past years, and I have realized that the School of the Future is not so much about emerging technologies or amazing architecture or innovation. The School of the Future is about radical collaboration. It is about openness and the courage to challenge the status quo. The School of the Future needs all of us. We need to start talking to each other, asking questions, talking to our teachers, to our policymakers, and recognizing the incredible innovations that are emerging. We need to actively support them. I have great news to share today. The School of the Future is already here, and it is a place of joy, of wonder, and of inspiration. It is that place that my future students will surely start talking about. Thank you.